Hello, today's devotional can be found in Joseph Smith History, chapter 1, verse 6. It's the last part of that verse. For a scene of great confusion and bad feeling ensued, priest contending against priest and convert against convert, so that all their good feelings, one for another, if they ever had any, were entirely lost in a strife of words and a contest about opinions. Okay, so here's the thing. There are some who believe their religion is true, and there are others who believe in other religious beliefs. Eventually, people may find things wrong with what they believe in, and so they question it. They question it to their friends, their family, their religious leader. And the answers they may receive may not satisfy them, putting them in a state of confusion. And other members who claim to have a stronger belief suddenly develop bad feelings towards the one who is questioning everything. And they tend to shun those who question because people are afraid of questions. People are afraid of people who ask questions because it may create a widespread doubt. And people shun each other over petty things like beliefs, simply because of the belief that people should all believe the same thing, and they shouldn't ask questions or make statements that make them stand out from the crowd. And when people have questions about their religion, they sometimes develop questions pertaining to the feelings that they have about the religion. They question whether or not their feelings are real, and they question whether or not what they believe is true. And then they look for holes. And of course, religious leaders feel like the questioners are under the influence of another. And so religious leaders go after each other, blaming them for the questions that their followers ask, instead of really taking to heart the questions and helping their followers find answers. They try to blame somebody for the questions happening at all, because some people are afraid or unwilling to answer questions because it might put their own belief into doubt. And other members of the same belief find it easier to turn against someone asking questions rather than try and answer them, because they don't want to find flaws in their faith. It's quite disturbing. Instead of being willing to answer questions and perhaps learn something and make a friend, people will turn against each other and allow pettiness to take over. Questions aren't a bad thing. Questions help us learn. Questions help us to determine what sources are reliable and what sources are better avoided. And any good feelings that people may have had towards one another are gone over avoiding questions, over confusion, because people don't understand why their friends are suddenly asking questions about something they claim to believe. They feel like shunning or berating others over their questions and what they have to say will get them to stop. Here's the thing, though. Somebody won't just stop asking questions or expressing what they believe to be true just because people shun them or send them or tell them nasty things or threaten to stop being their friend. Asking questions and expressing thoughts is a natural part of ourselves. And we have the right to do it. And it's very petty to threaten absolution of friendship or resort to name calling simply because questions are asked or thoughts are expressed. Life is too short to get into a strife of words. Everyone has a right to an opinion, and berating someone over theirs is not Christ-like. And a contest about opinions, well, that happens when people decide to express their opinions about something and they're immediately berated for daring to do so. Some people look at life through rose-colored glasses, and some people look at life as it really is. And of course, people see life differently when they look through different eyes, and of course there are disagreements to be had. But instead of looking at the differences, instead of looking at what is not real and genuine in life or in belief, we should focus on what we have in common and what we can bring to the world together. Because pretending to be something we're not just for the sake of pleasing people, it's inappropriate. Because other people don't have the right to live our life for us. Other people may have different beliefs than we do because everybody has grown up differently. Everybody has been exposed to different things at different times. And to pretend to be something we're not just for the sake of pleasing other people can create confusion. We can become confused by who we really are. And we can develop bad feelings against those who forced us into a role we may not have necessarily wanted. And so good feelings for people that we may have had may be gone. We may resent them for forcing us into a role that we may not have wanted, and we can't be ourselves around them. So that's another reason we may come to resent people. If we're pretending to be something we're not, we'll eventually get tired of it and try being ourselves and sharing opinions that we feel comfortable with. And of course, people who expected us to be one way will react in a strife of words and a contest of opinion. And we may get a lot of hate for trying to be ourselves, but don't be afraid of it. God would rather us be ourselves and use our agency and be comfortable than pretend to be something we're not and please people and come to hate life and ourselves. Because being ourselves is what the Lord wants us to be. Being something we're not just to please others allows them to control our agency, and life's too short to let people do that. And with that said, I love you all so very much, and I say these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.